what's up, everybody? This is Dae Gardens. We are here today with Samuri. She has so much to share with us today. Samuri is an artist. She is into gardening. She does a whole lot, especially she likes to give back a lot. So that's why we brought her on today. So with that said, Samuri, how are you doing today?
I'm doing so good. It's so good to see you.
That's good. That's good. So the reason why I brought you on is because I know that we talked prior to this, and you've been through so much, and you've been so resilient and so patient with everything. So I'll start off with just what you have out now, and then what you got going on. So.
Okay.
One of those things is your single right now. So tell us about that single, and what does it mean to you, and what are just some of the things that went into your project of I Got Mine single.
For the single, you know what? That was one of the only songs on my whole project that I got help writing. It's featuring Justina Clear, and she helped me write that song. And you know what? One of your questions that you emailed me really is pertaining to that. It's what it's like to be a female and constantly have men come at you incorrectly, and they just think that that's what it takes. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, no, that's not what it takes to be a real man, or what God wants for me. You know what I'm saying? And so at the end of the day, it's like, no matter who is really there, I got me because God got me.
Yeah, I feel that.
I got mine. I feel that. God is within me, and God has me.
Yeah,
So that's really what it's like. No matter what man is, whether you have a man or not, whether you have a partner or not, God has you more than anybody else.
Exactly. So with that, the spiritual part about it. So I know that you are spiritual, and you practice it. So when it comes to spirituality, does someone necessarily have to pick up a religion? Do they have to be Muslim, or do they have to be Christian to just be spiritual?
Definitely not. I don't consider myself a religious person, even though I did grow up non-denominational in the Christian church, and have a lot of like non-denominational Mennonite Baptist roots and stuff like that. I do not think that religion is necessary in order for somebody to find God, in order for somebody to find their consciousness.
Yes.
Religion is very much a brainwashing, controlling technique as well. And a lot of people don't really see that or realize that. But you know what? There is a verse in the Bible, in the Word of God, that says, God judges you based on the amount of faith that He's given unto you. Which means God meets you where you're at. So if you want to find religion, and religion is how you find God, that's fine. There's more power to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel that. So, so you got I Got Mine single out right now, right? And it's available on all platforms, right?
All platforms.
All right, so all platforms. So everybody go download that right now, all platforms, Spotify, YouTube, all that stuff. So go ahead and download that. And not even that, just go buy it. Go buy her single. You know what I mean? Support the underdogs, And so when you're creating music, and because I also know that you do your own studio, you do your own writing. So with doing music, doing writing and things like that, what are some of the things that you take into accountability when you're doing when you're creating music or new sounds?
You know what? That is a loaded question, because I could say so many things right there. There's so many ways to be creative. There's so many ways to start a creative process. There's so many ways to make a song,
Yeah.
you can start, how there's like a right and left side of the brain, a more creative
Exactly.
side and a more like logical side. You can start
Exactly.
with either, you can be very mathematical and very keen about your patterns, you know, um, or you can just be very raw and not really have any rules with your art. You know what I mean?
True.
There's so many ways that you could start creating. Sometimes I like to have an instrumental or a beat already had, and you can find inspiration from that, whatever way, whether it's singing or rapping over it or even spoken word over it. Sometimes you have no sound at all, no beat at all,
Right.
and things are just in your head, and you
True.
hear sounds and percussions and rhythms and melodies in your head, and they overlay, and only you can hear them, and so you got to lay them all out.
Yes.
There's so many ways that you can go about it.
And then so your style is different because I've heard your music and I'm like, damn, she has like a soulful like voice. It kind of like, not to stick you in a bubble, but being African American, someone would think like, damn, this girl can sing. They probably think you're black. You feel me? So like, how was your upbringing? Like, what were you brought up around different cultures and things like that? Because I noticed that in your music, you could switch it up. You go on this side where you can touch different people. So I was curious to know, like what was your upbringing like? Like who'd you hang around with? How'd you kind of like grow up around music, and how did those things influence you?
Okay. Um, so yes and no to your question of if I was brought up around a lot of different people. You know what I mean? My
Yeah.
parents are two very different people.
Okay.
Um, my mother is very much in a little box in her own little world.
Okay.
Um, my father is very open-minded, very intelligent. He listens to NPR. Shout out to National Public Radio.
All
You
right.
know, so if you know about National Public Radio, that's very enlightening. It's opening your mind. It's not bias. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Um, so with music, what started me out, I guess, is I remember at a very young age, always singing. I actually have a trophy of a first place talent contest trophy of a singing that I don't even remember. I was so young. So
Yeah.
I've been singing and writing for as long as I can remember. I remember making little drum sets with like cans and little guitar string shoe boxes and
That's
writing,
cool.
just like writing music and stuff like that. In the car, my mom listened to country music and Christian music. I was with it as a kid. I never really liked country music, but I liked the gospel music. I liked
Yeah.
the Christian music, Christian rock. I liked all that when I was a kid.
Okay.
Um, my dad, he was very eclectic, just anything, like oldies, anything old school, Hall and Oates. He liked Sharon Jones, BB King, Frank Sinatra, just all types of things,
That's dope.
and my dad always encouraged me. I would be singing in the car and my dad would turn up the radio and he'd be like, sing it, baby girl, and he would
Nice.
tell me, when you're famous, you got to get this person's autograph for me and blah blah blah. So my dad
Yeah.
was very encouraging as far as just singing, because I love doing that.
Yes.
um I think just like anybody, I grew up hard, just like anybody else. I know a
Yeah.
lot of people that have had worse upbringings than me,
Yes. Of
but
course.
it,
Yeah.
it was hard in perspective to what it was at the time. It was hard.
Yeah.
And I really had like two escapes, and music and the gym. And that was it. It was just working out and music. And I remember I would go to the gym for hours and I would just listen to my music and I would just focus on like my workout and the rhythm, and it just put into my head a very scientific element of music and rhythm, while I breathed very slow and did my workouts with the bone structures and physical therapy. And so that really just was like an escape for me.
That's
It was
that's
an
dope.
escape for me. um
Yeah.
as I grew up, I did have a lot of different cultural things that influenced me, and
Mhm.
different people that I met that were outside of my household upbringing. And I do think that that influenced me a lot in a very positive way to open up my mind at a young age. And I didn't realize it any of at the time until I, we come into more of this social media age in the
Yeah.
past five,
Sure.
5, 7, 10 years, and everything's just kind of out there. And that wasn't how it was when I grew up.
Same.
You
Same
know,
here. Same
so
here.
like an element of like racism and all that stuff wasn't even anything I in my head at all when I was a kid.
That's
You know
good.
what I mean? It was just
Mhm.
these are the people that they are.
Yeah.
And people just
That's
look the way that they look, whether
true.
they're yellow or green or blue or fat or
Right.
tall, or people just are who they are.
I feel you.
Yeah.
I feel the same way. When when it comes about that too, like I do that with my daughter. You know what I mean? We always talk about teach our daughter. Like there's no, oh, just because that person's this color, they're this or that. It's like, no, it's either they're a good person or they're a bad person. There's no, oh, this person's better because they're wearing this or they're this color. It doesn't matter about any of that. And that goes back to your parents. Your parents taught you to be open. And as you grew up, that turned out to be very well. Like now today, like you said, in social media, you got, some people just don't care. They teach their kids hate and they grow up and they hate. And I don't blame the kids. You got to blame somebody, but it's definitely not the kids. They don't come out screaming, I hate this race. You know what I mean? So I totally get where you're coming from about being open-minded. That's something that we do here at Garden Talks is we want all walks of life here, and we want to hear stories, of all walks of life, different shapes, sizes, colors, race, whatever, it don't matter. If there was an artist that you wanted to work with, or someone that you just like you want to work with so bad, who is that artist, and
Oh,
why would you want to work with them?
oh man. Okay, so it has to be somebody alive, right?
Um, it can be either or. It could be either or.
Well, I have quite a couple things in mind. Off the top of my head, I was asked this question just the other day. I love Erica Badu.
Feel that.
There's so much pertaining to her spirit. There's so much that I feel any individual in her life can learn from her. I love her sound.
Yeah.
Her herself, she's a very soulful singer, but she doesn't sing typically like other Black women who sing the R&B songs that she does. She has a very unique sound with her genre. I
Yes.
love that. Even just having some tea with Erica Badu, even just sitting down and talking about
Right.
God and the universe and the magic that we possess as stem-offs of God. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I think that she has so much to learn. I would love to create with her in any form, whether it's music or painting, whatever.
Yeah, right.
Solange is underground queen. Solange is total queen.
Okay.
I love Solange so much. I relate to Solange. I would love to have a conversation with her. She is resilient to me. She reminds me so much of myself.
Yeah.
You get overlooked, you get pushed down. Life happens and it stunts you and it pushes you back, and
Yeah.
you come out on top amongst all of it,
That's real.
and just so beautiful being yourself, being weird. And that's nothing bad about weird, that's cool, that's good, that's unique,
That is.
I think it's very, very important in that regard to be yourself, because we are all stem-offs of God. We are all little bits of God's creation, so God is so everlasting, so unlimited,
Yes.
that
Exactly.
it's so important to be ourselves, because there is something in you that is not in anybody else.
That's
you know
facts. That's
we
facts.
all have this different extension of God, because God is so huge. It's so important to just be weird, be unique,
Yeah.
express yourself.
That's
you
true.
know? So I love Solange for so many reasons. Um, I love Earl Stevens. I love E40. I'm a big E40 fan.
And you know what? That's funny you say that because he has a song called "Life Lessons."
Does he really? I don't even know that. That's crazy.
So when you said that, I was like, he has it with "Be Legit," and you should listen to it because it's really really cool. Um, and I'm a big E40 fan myself because he's for the people. He don't
Yes.
he tell it like it is. He tell it real raw, and that's one person that besides Nipsey, that's another person that inspires me because he does it for his city and where he's from, and he just keeps it all the way 100. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
Yes.
what is one of those things that you went through that you reflect on, or I wouldn't even say reflect on, but you could look back on and say, damn, I made it through that shit. Like, I can't believe I'm right here. I'm happy now. But what is something that you went through that could possibly help someone by sharing that with us today?
But you know what? Okay, I'll touch upon it really bullet point to be
Yeah, yeah,
quick.
yeah.
And
That's
if
fine.
anybody else, wants to know, I am writing a book, and it's going to be called Lavender Fields of Diamonds, and it's coming up. And that's one of the things that I'm going to be talking more in depth about this story in the
Cool.
book that I'm writing. But
Nice.
basically, what it is, I went through something very, very, very deep and very spiritual, and it was so weird because years and years and years ago when I was a teenager, I had this lady tell me my future.
Oh
And
wow.
I'm not into that. I'm not into psychics. I'm not into
Yeah,
crystal
me
balls.
neither.
I do not do the tarot card readings. I do not.
Yeah.
I do have crystals, but all my credit goes all the way to God, honey. We
I
don't
got
credit
you.
tarot cards around here. You know what I'm saying?
Give me
Um,
100,
right,
huh? No
right. So
tarot cards right here, huh?
I wasn't really into the her reading my future. I really wasn't. I had a friend, they was like, come on, you got I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
She was a Christian woman. She didn't call herself a psychic. She called herself a channeler, a channel. And she
Okay.
basically told me about this incident before it ever happened. It was about 10 years. And I
Yeah.
I forgot all about it until I was in the situation that I remembered.
Mhm.
And so what it was I was in a very, very abusive relationship. It was abusive mentally, emotionally, verbally, spiritually, physically, by a Christian man. And so he would abuse me with the Bible, and he would tell me very terrible things that God didn't love me as much as him because I was a woman, but
Wow.
also because I'm white, so would
Okay.
degrade me for my race, my gender, and then try to love me, and we ended up having our daughter, and that's how that's my daughter.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, and God bless
Right?
her. She's so wonderful.
Exactly.
Yes. But through this heavy abuse, and my daughter has some severe disabilities, according to the medical record. It's some pretty severe disabilities, but when you're around her, she's just a happy little girl. She just thrives.
That's
You
good.
know,
That's
the
good.
Holy Spirit is within her.
It's kind
And
of like one of those like a rebirth of not only your daughter but yourself, right?
oh
Because
my
I think
God.
when it's just like when I had my daughter, man, I was like tripping. I was like, damn, what I'm gonna do? Like I was just worried, and like I always had a plan, but at the time I was just like, the fuck is going on? Like, what am I gonna do? I was a little bit younger, but I think when you have that child, that gives you another fresh breath of air. That
That's
makes
a
bring
fresh air.
right. That brings your focus to what's really important. And I think that it's all about raising the next generation and of our seeds and things like
Yes.
that. So I mean, for you to have to go through that and be where you are today, smiling, talking to me right now, is it's all God. You know what I mean? God,
Oh God.
He
God
had
has
you.
got me through everything. And it was so crazy because even though this man was a Christian man and would abuse me with the Bible, God never left my side, and God was constantly correcting his abuse in my consciousness. Like, that's not right. Don't take that, because that's not me. That's not God, you know?
Yeah, I feel that.
And what you said right there of like how when you had your child, it was like yourself in this different way, you know, it's
Yeah,
weird because there is a selfishness, a very positive selfishness that comes with having a child.
yeah,
And
exactly.
it's like you're selfish in the way of that's you. That is your seed. So you love it. You love that child so much because it's an extension of you.
Yes.
And it's so unconditional. And I really think that's so much of an example of God's love for us. We are an extension of God, and that parenting,
Yeah.
loving, like that's my seed. I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
unconditionally. It's a selfish love.
Yeah,
You know?
no, it really is. And you know, with all of that, it's just amazing that you can carry on. And I think that's why Garden Talks is here, because I want to help inspire other people. You know what I mean? I want to get that doubt out of their mind, that fear out of their mind, and let them and show them that there's people that are probably going through that went through worse and are doing just as better and rode through the storm and got shit done. You know, I think we're in a society that people think they can pick up a phone and get rich right away. Really, when that's not the case. You know, a lot of us been through like hella shit. Like, I mean, man, trust me, like I know people that have been through way worse than me,
Oh yeah,
and they climbed all the way to the top. You know what I mean?
right.
And you know, that's why, you know, Garden Talks is here. It's a platform for all of us to not only just share what we're doing, but to inspire others.
Mhm.
Because there's someone that's going to watch this, and they're probably watching right now, and they're going to understand what we're talking about, and we're going
Right,
to be able to help them.
right.
So one our tagline is always growing, forever learning. You know, there's always opportunities to learn every day. Every day there's opportunities to grow every day. So with that said, I'm gonna have you end our show today with your soulful voice. You're gonna ride us out at the end of this interview. Let's share with us all you where they can find you, all your platforms on the music, and then we'll ride it out with you.
Okay, well, first, I'll say you can find me on all platforms at Samurai West. That is
Uh,
Samuri, Samuri, and West like the direction.
like
I'm out there.
samurai.
Go find me, Samurai Sound. You can also find my production, Samurai Sound. Go download all that stuff, you know. And so, Dae, what is you want me to? You said a tune.
Oh yeah,
What do
yeah. Just write us out, like whatever you feel. You know, if you can, if you have a little piece of a song that you want to get out there, maybe a little preview to your next album,
okay,
just a little bit.
you catching me off guard with this, Dae, but I
Hey,
got you.
got to.
I got you.
It's not scripted here. We don't do no scripts over here.
Okay.
All right.
Um, this is a little piece of a little sneak peek of my album.
All right.
On the edge of something beautiful, I'm cutting the dead weight, making way for growth. In my spaceship, only I will go. From my galaxy to the far unknown, rebirth. A new day is here, rejoice, evolve. You can heal yourself, but it's your choice. La 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 la, life is beautiful after heartache. La 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 la, life is beautiful after heartache. Oh, oh, la 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 la, life is beautiful after heartache. La 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 la, life is beautiful after heartache. Oh, oh.
There we go. Life is beautiful after heartbreak. You got it right. This is Samurai Rest. I appreciate you for coming on Garden Talks.
Well, thank you guys so much for having me on the show. Thank you so much for tuning in to Dae Gardens. We are always learning, forever growing. Did I say that
Yes,
right?
you
Always
did. Let's go.
forever growing. Yes. So I just hope everybody stays joyous and uplifted with the Holy Spirit that's already within them. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
And God stays faithful to those who are faithful to God. You
yes,
know?
exactly. That's true. That's
Yeah.
real. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. And I wish you and your family a happy Christmas and happy holidays and a new year and everybody out there. So thank you guys. Remember, we're always growing, forever learning. Peace. We are out of here.